Hello everyone and welcome back to your free piano lessons. My name's Olivia and this is lesson 9 in my free course here on YouTube that's going to show you how to play piano from the very beginning. If you missed the first few lessons, click up here, it'll take you back to lesson 1. For today, we're going to learn about melody and harmony and we'll also learn your first chord. Let's get started. Alright, for today we're going to be starting off talking about melody and harmony. So we're going to get started on page 54 in your book, which will be the New World Symphony theme. So with melody and harmony, the easiest way to think about it is melody is going to be whatever part of a song you could sing along to, that's the melody. So for example, if I play, maybe we'll do Ode to Joy. If I play Ode to Joy with my right hand, it'll sound like this. Right? We know that part. So if you were to sing Ode to Joy to somebody, that's the part that you would sing. My left hand is just going to play this. So obviously that is not really the melody in Ode to Joy because it doesn't sound anything like Ode to Joy. It's just the part that complements the melodies. That's the harmony. So then when I put them together, it'll sound like this. So that part, when we put them all together, my right hand is clearly playing the melody because that's the part that we recognize. My left hand is just playing chords, so that is the harmony. So the point with this, we're about to get to practice this a little bit in this song that we are about to do. Your right hand starts out with the melody, which as I play this for you guys, you'll see what I'm talking about. My right hand is going to have the melody first. If you look in the first line of this, your left hand is just playing C and G, and you're just holding it for 4 whole measures. So that is obviously not the melody, that's the harmony right there. And then my right hand is playing the more interesting part. So that's going to be my melody that I have. Then when we get to the second page of this one, so in measure 17, your left hand will end up having the melody, and then your right hand isn't really doing much of anything, so there actually is no harmony in that part, it's just the melody. But it will end up switching hands, so you'll get some practice with that. So then we have one new thing in this one, which is going to be the DCL fine at the end of the second page. So you should see where that's written above the last measure that you have there. So they've got all the information for that down in this little box right here. So the DCL fine is in Italian da capo alla fine, which just means that we're going to go back to the beginning to the end, which is the fine, which you have at the end of the first page, over that quarter rest that you have right there. That is the fine. So that's where you're actually going to stop. So this is kind of like a repeat sign, except a little bit different. So as we play through this song, you're going to play the first page, you're going to play the second page, you get to the DCL fine, you go back to the beginning, you play the first page again, and then that's where you stop. So first page, second page, first page, and then that's the end. So that's the only thing that we have that's really new in this one, is just kind of a structural thing. So we'll be careful with that. We'll make sure that when you are playing this one, then you go back and play the first page again before you finish the song. So we've got a little bit of pedal in this one. There are a few spots that have it, so you'll have to watch out for that. So we've got that little pedal mark underneath some of these measures to watch out for. We do have some dynamics in this one. The first page of this is piano, the second page is mezzo forte. So when we start this piece, the first page is going to be quiet, the second page is medium loud, and then when we repeat the first page, we go back to piano. So that's all of the big stuff in this one. And then again, you've got a lot of tied notes in this one. So anytime that you've got those 2 notes that have the little connecting line there, then we do not replay it. We're just going to keep holding it for a really long time. So you'll see an example of that as well. I'm about to play it, so you'll see what I'm talking about. So I'll give you our example of this real quick, starting from the beginning. Again, I'm going to play first page, then the second page, then the first page again. All right, here we go. There we go. And that is the whole song. So I just stopped after I played this first page the second time. So one thing I forgot to mention though, there is a movement of your hands when you get to the second page. So I started off this song, they're giving you the little diagram at the top that tells you where your hands are going to go. So I'm starting here in my C pentascale, if you remember that. So C, D, E, F, G in both of my hands. That's where I'm starting for this one. Then when we get to the second page, you've got that circled finger number there, which tells you you're going to move your hand. So only my left hand has to move. My right hand's going to stay in the same spot. But my left hand, they're telling me that my third finger is moving up to A. So my third finger is my middle finger. I'll put that on A. And now my two thumbs are sharing middle C here. And then this is where I'm going to be at for the second page. Then when we finish the second page, we go back to the first page. Then I move my hand back down to my C pentascale. So that's the other thing with this one that you have to watch out for. Make sure that you're moving your hand when you get there so that you can reach the notes that you've got. So that's going to be your first song for this week. Then our second song, if you flip over just to the very next page, we are going to add in your first chord. So if we put our hands back in our C pentascale that we were just in, this is where our hands are going to be at for this next song, but it's also kind of the bass position for this chord that we are about to play. So a chord is going to be 3 or more notes that we play at the same time will make a chord. So this chord that we're about to learn right now is called the C major chord. So it's going to be a combination of C, E, and G. And then when I play them together, this is a chord. So they sound nice. They get used a lot in the left hand in piano because they're usually part of our harmony. So a lot of the time my right hand will be the one that plays the melody part and then the left hand will play the harmony. So a lot of the time our chords are going to be more in the left hand because they are the harmony part. So with our chord that we have here, anytime that we're making a chord, this one is called a triad because we've got 3 notes that are all thirds apart. So C, E, G, these are all thirds here. And then as we're building this, we're going to end up getting more chords later on, but you can have that same position, so where they're all thirds apart. You can do that for a lot of different positions on the piano. So if we've got, this is my C pentascale here, so this is my C chord, because whatever our bottom note is the name of the chord. So this is C on the bottom, it's a C chord. I can move that to my G pentascale where G is on the bottom. Now I'm playing a G major chord. I can do the same thing with, if I put F on the bottom, this is an F major chord. So you can move them around and end up playing a bunch of different chords just with the same hand position in a different spot. So that's pretty cool. We'll end up doing a little bit more with that later on. But for today, we are just focused on our C major chord, which is here. So C major is always going to be C, E, and G. Those are the only 3 notes that will be in C major. If you have any other notes, it is not C major. But I can put those 3 notes in any order that I want to. So I could do C and G down here. I could put E on top. This is still C major because I have the same 3 notes. So even though they're not in the same order, it still is C major because I'm playing the same 3 notes. So I can even spread them out and go do something crazy like here. That's C major still. This is G, and then E and C on top. So it's still C major because I'm still in the same spot. I can do it here. This is C, G, E, G. So that's still C major. It's the same 3 notes. So you can put them anywhere you like. It's still C major. The easiest spot is certainly having it right here though, which is where we're going to use it today. So this one right here, this is Jingle Bells. Sorry if you're watching this in the middle of spring. Well, I'm currently playing this in the middle of spring, so you know, that's all right. But with this one, the only thing that we're adding in, I believe, is our C major chord. So you'll notice that a lot in the left hand in this one, where we've got our 3 notes stacked on top of each other, then that is going to be our C major chord that we're playing in the left hand. So we've got a little bit of pedal in this one that you're welcome to use if you'd like. It does say pedal optional, so you don't have to, but I like to use the pedal. And then we do have an octave sign as well. If you look at measure 9 or above measure 9, you've got that 8 VA symbol. We've talked about that before. Your right hand for the last 2 lines of this song is going to go up an octave. So we were here. I'm going to move up to my treble C, and then I'll play up here. So with this one, I'll show you what this one will look like. You'll notice my left hand when it plays that C major chord. So let's give it a go. And that's the whole thing. So that's going to be all of the stuff that we have to do for this week. You just have 2 songs. You have your New World Symphony theme and then also Jingle Bells. So we're working with our melody and harmony in this one, and then we're also practicing with our C major chord. So I would try and get nice and comfortable with that chord this week. The hand position that you've got for it, I would practice being able to find that, because it will come up a lot in the next few weeks. Then we'll be using a lot of our C major chord. So be prepared for that. We'll start using it more often. So get some practice with that this week. And then that's really our main thing. And then that's all we got to do. All right, guys, that is all that we're going to go through today. Let me know in the comment section down below if you have any questions, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell if you haven't already, so that you don't miss any future lessons. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.